You are the men who gave them the power to destroy themselves. And the world is not prepared. 8, 7, 6, 5.
So yeah, I'm gonna make that in Minecraft now. So the plan is that I'm going to try and make a weapon that works kind of like Fatboy from Deep Rock Galactic. Now, if you don't know what Fatboy is, here's a demonstration. Now, the first thing that I need to do to make Fatboy is to figure out how to make the projectile. Because at first I was just gonna use a crossbow that just fires like a special arrow, that then when it lands then it summons in the nuke. But the thing is that in Deep Rock Galactic, Fatboy has a lot of drop. Like, it would not go that far, and so I was thinking using an ender pearl, because that has way more drop. But of course the downside is that then you get teleported right into the nuke, and that's not very fun. Now, I did also consider using a splash potion, but that has too much drop again. Like, if you throw it there, you will kill yourself. Like, that's... it's gonna explode in your face, you know? So I honestly think the ender pearl is the best way of doing it. And so now I've also just put in these 2 command blocks, where this one summons in an arrow at an ender pearl, and then this one makes the arrow teleport to the ender pearl. So now, as you can see, there is an arrow where the ender pearl lands that I can then execute at to then check like if there's an arrow with a certain tag that is in the ground, then summon in the nuke. So now I've just put in this command block that should make it so that now if I throw that right there, then it says hi just as it hits, and of course I can then change it from saying hi to then summoning in a nuke. Now, there's still a few problems that I gotta fix before I actually make the nuke, and the first thing is that now these 3 command blocks works for all ender pearls and all arrows. So now if I do this, then it's constantly gonna say hi, even though this isn't meant to be a nuke. And like, yeah, it just works for all ender pearls. This hasn't got any special tags or anything. And so I think now what I'm gonna do is that I'm not gonna make like a crafting system for the nukes or anything, but I'm just gonna make a command block right here that just gives me a nuke, and then like I'll just make it so that it only works for those specific nukes. So then after banging my head against the wall for about 20 minutes, then now it's finally working. So now this command block just gives me an ender pearl named Fatboy, and also I should probably just clarify this right now that the ender pearl texture, like, yeah, it doesn't really fit either like a nuke or the grenade launcher in Deep Rock, but still, I don't really care about that, to be honest. And like, I'm thinking that like if I'm gonna make this, for example, into a data pack or something, then it's gonna have a texture pack to follow with it as well. So yeah, it's just an ender pearl works, and it's gonna get changed with the texture pack either way. But yeah, so now if I just throw the normal ender pearl, then nothing happens. It works just like a normal ender pearl. But if I throw Fatboy, then it summons in the arrow, and then yeah, here it says hi, and I'm also under a tree right now. But yeah, so now that's at least working. And now I've just put in this command block, which just makes so that the ender pearl doesn't actually teleport me, and also this command block, which just kills the arrow as soon as it like actually hits the ground, or as soon as the ender pearl hits the ground, right? So then now if I just throw this, then as you can see, I don't get teleported and everything disappears, and there comes a giant explosion. So now with all of that done, then I can finally get on to actually making the explosion, because I'm gonna tell you a little secret here, okay? This is just text. It's not actually a giant explosion. I know, crazy, right? So yeah, let's change that. And I think it'll be as easy as actually just doing this. So this is just a command I've just generated, and then now if I throw this, then there comes a little explosion, yes. And this little explosion should actually be very big. If I just set this to true, then yeah, that's pretty good. So, I mean, it's not like real life nuke sized, you know, but like that would just desiccate this whole island, you know, like I want to keep my command block creations, okay? But I did try and make it kind of like the Deep Rock Galactic nuke, like kind of that size, although I also don't really remember how big it is. I just made it be like quite big and then just kind of settled for that. And yeah, I mean, This is pretty cool, right? Oh yeah, and I'm not cleaning that up, okay? I'm just gonna ignore that and move on with my day. Also, by the way, one more thing, I realized that you can actually rocket jump with this when mob griefing is off. And, I mean, like, rocket jumping using nukes is probably one of the most fun things I've ever done in a video game. I mean, come on. But since rocket jumping around with nukes in Minecraft sounds just a little bit too fun, then now the next thing that I'm gonna add is going to be the radiation field that comes when the nuke blows up. And yeah, so this will be just like in Deep Rock, will be like just a field that deals a lot of damage to anything in it. That will also be way bigger than the actual explosion. And I'm thinking this will be like the most deadly part of the nuke, honestly, because like, yeah, the explosion is pretty deadly on its own, but like, you know, that's just another explosion, you know, you can achieve that with just TNT, but like, a field of radiation that slowly kills you, you know, what else can do that? And let's just ignore that the Ender Dragon has an attack that is literally just that. Now, the way I'll make this radiation field is I think I'll just move the kill command block one more back, and then this one will, instead of being kill, will just summon in, I think just an armor stand maybe, that then has like a field around it that will then damage anyone inside of it, and then it's also going to then like start a scoreboard that slowly goes up. This is too much talking for one clip. Again, just cut and then just, yeah, do it another time. Okay, you know what to do, okay? I'm not gonna tell you how to do your job. Even though I'm you, so tell myself how to do my job. But I don't need to tell, well, I'm telling myself across time. If time is a dimension, I'm technically telling myself from another dimension how to do stuff. Bullshit. ADHD is a bitch. And so now I've just got a small prototype of it working without the damage put in just yet, but basically what I did was that I first just summoned in an armor stand at the explosion, and then also just put in a happy villager and also dust particle around the armor stand to kind of like show that this is a radioactive field. So now if I just do this, then as you can see there's the armor stand. I'm gonna make that invisible later. And yeah, I feel like the field turned out okay. I did want it to look a little bit more like the one in Deep Rock, but that one has a ring and not like an actual field, which makes it a little bit more like difficult, I think. But right now the radiation doesn't actually deal any damage, so now I can just stand in here, and although the explosion will deal damage, then I mean, yeah, as I said, like the radiation is supposed to be like the main source of damage, and so yeah, I'm not taking any damage. Hello. Alright, well now I can test out the damage, and yeah, this is then 1 heart per tick, which is quite a lot of damage. So yeah, and that is what I want. The next thing that I want to move on to is then the radiation field disappearing after like a minute or so, right? Because this is based off of Fat Boy, so yeah, let's make it disappear. Alright, let's move on to the next thing now. Alright, but for a more permanent solution, then I'll add in the scoreboard Fatboy Radiation, which is gonna be a dummy, and then I'll just make it so that it constantly goes up for all of the radiation fields. So now if I just do this, then as you can see that starts going up. So now I think the last thing that I've got to do is to just add in some particles and sound effects for the actual explosion. Because, I mean, right now, it's just kind of boring, you know, there's not really anything there, it's just like a little poof, and then there's the radiation, and then that's it, kinda. So yeah, let's make like an actual nuclear blast, and it's gonna be awesome, so, no montage time. So now with all of the particles and sound effects in, then now it looks and sounds like this. So here, there is like a small mushroom cloud, and I do kind of like how it looks. I feel like it's a little bit too small, like it doesn't really have the impact that I want, but like, Still, I don't really know how I can make it any better, because if I just make it just bigger, then I feel like it will have less impact, kind of, because like right now it's like it comes in there really quickly and then like it slowly fades away. But then if it's bigger, then I feel like it needs to fade away slower, and so then it would just look less like powerful and stuff, right? And so yeah, so I think it looks okay, you know, good enough. And then there's also a sound effect for when you're inside of the radiation field. But that's then everything for the nuke, and I know that, you know, it's not really that realistic, but this is, you know, as I said, based off of the Deep Rock Galactic Fat Boy and not a real nuke, just so that it wouldn't be way too destructive. But yeah, so I guess this is gonna be everything for this video. So yeah, if you liked it, then just remember there's a button for that. But yeah, this will be everything for this video, so bye!